Do you believe that your supporters will vote for him? Because remember what happened in 2016 when about a quarter did not vote for Hillary Clinton.
No, that's not true, Christiane. That is not true. It was not a quarter of our voters who did not vote for Hillary Clinton. That is a false number.
So what you just saw there was a clip of Christiane Amanpour on CNN basically lying, outright lying about Bernie Sanders supporters in the 2016 election, saying that a quarter of them voted for Trump over Hillary when that was not at all the case. And Bernie outright shut down that fake news narrative. Now I'm going to play you the rest of the clip because after that lie, she sort of tries to walk it back, but she still tries to go at Bernie and suggest that if Biden loses, it's going to be his fault.
Do you believe that your supporters will vote for him? Because remember what happened in 2016 when about a quarter did not vote for Hillary Clinton.
No, that's not true, Christiane. That is not true. It was not a quarter of our voters who did not vote for Hillary Clinton. That is a false number. But more importantly...
Okay, so if my figure was wrong, there was nonetheless a significant Bernie or bust, number. But my question to you is this, that there are still, according to the polls, despite the lead that Biden holds right now, there are still young people who are less than excited and progressives in the minority communities. What can you do, and are you confident now that they will do what you're saying, come to vote because of the gravity of this moment?
Well, let me go back a moment on your numbers. My understanding is more people who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2008 voted for John McCain than people who voted for me in 2016 who voted for Trump. But to answer your question, I think what the Biden campaign does understand is that we did really, really well among young people, white and black and Latino, Native American, Asian American. We did pretty badly among older people. And what I think the Biden campaign understands, they're going to have to reach out and bring those people into the fold. And I think they are making some success.
So what you see there in that whole clip, you see Amanpour bring the fake news from 2016. You see Bernie correct the narrative that actually Bernie voters were more loyal to Hillary than Hillary voters were loyal to Barack Obama in 2008. And that ultimately Bernie Sanders voters, for the most part, voted Democrat in 2016. But Bernie makes a crucial point. Back in 2016 and here in 2020, the ultimate responsibility for winning over the Bernie coalition, especially progressives and young people of all backgrounds, is ultimately with the candidate. Ultimately, Hillary Clinton, it was her responsibility to bring those people along, and by and large, she failed. Many of them didn't vote for Donald Trump. A lot of them probably didn't vote for anyone. That's why turnout was lower. She didn't inspire people. And likewise, Biden's going to need, through policy and messaging and campaigning, bring those people out to his campaign, to his movement. We don't know if he's going to do so yet, but the point is, Bernie can only do so much. And Bernie, as much as he did for Hillary, and he did a lot, remember, 41 events for Hillary Clinton, far more than she did for Barack Obama, and I have to think it's among the hardest work ever done by a defeated candidate for the person that beat them. I don't know if that's a record, but I know that it's more than average. As much as he did for Hillary, he's doing even more for Biden. He dropped out early. He endorsed Biden early. It was a full-throated endorsement. He got behind Biden through the task forces, bringing in other progressives at the congressional level like AOC and Pramila Jayapal to serve on these committees. They prepared joint documents, which helped legitimize Biden's campaign with progressives. Now, a lot of people, including a lot of my viewers, aren't convinced by Biden's outreach, and they're not convinced by Bernie's proclamations that Biden's the most progressive candidate since FDR, with the most progressive platform since FDR. But nonetheless, the work is being done. Bernie is working very hard for Joe Biden. And you can see what's happening here. The media just has an absolute hatred and disdain for Bernie and his movement because they really want to have it both ways. On the one hand, the constant narrative was that Bernie's movement was small, insignificant, young people couldn't be counted upon to turn out, that Bernie was a flash in the pan, and that ultimately order has been restored with a traditional Democratic candidate in Joe Biden that's going to bring back normalcy to his party and to the White House. And on the other hand, they're furrowing their brows over the fact that some of these Bernie voters may not come out and vote for Joe Biden. That some of them, very few, might vote for Trump, and that some might stay home or vote third party. And the argument, therefore, is Bernie's at fault for the individual actions of his former supporters. And that's not the case. We know that the vast majority of people who supported Bernie in the 2020 primaries are currently lining up behind Biden. If you look at young people, they are vastly behind Biden. Now, it's true that most of those young people that are planning to vote for Biden don't like Biden. Biden's winning young people by huge margins, but he's got negative approval rating among those people. What that's saying is the Bernie coalition is, by and large, going with Biden, even if they're holding their noses while they do so. And so, what Bernie is saying in this interview is very crucial. You can get the demographic support of my movement, but if you want the enthusiasm, because Amanpour notes the low enthusiasm among progressives and young people for Biden, then Biden's got to do more. Bernie can only do so much. The actual hard work has to be done by Joe Biden. And when push comes to shove in November and Biden loses, if that happens, right now he's looking good, but he can still lose, then I don't want to see any person blame Bernie Sanders. He wasn't at fault for any of Hillary Clinton's mistakes in 2016 that led to her defeat. She lost in spite of Bernie's heroic help. And Joe Biden will have even less cause to blame Bernie Sanders. So here's the deal, mainstream media. You can't have it both ways. Either Bernie Sanders' movement is the absolute essential ingredient to Joe Biden's victory, in which case Biden should do much more to offer policies like Medicare for all, or the Bernie Sanders movement is meaningless and a flash in the pan, and then you should stop blaming them if Biden loses.